So join me as we recite the invocation mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So previously, may mga answers na binigay si Sutta Goswami sa ating mga sages. So if you have your Srimad Bhagavatam book with you, we discuss the chapter 2, verse number 1 up until 7. And he mentioned yung kailangan ng mga tao, kasi ang question ng mga sages in Naimi Saranya, what is the most beneficial para sa pang kalahatan for the whole humanity? And ano yung essence ng mga scriptures, kasi sobrang daming scriptures. It will take you 35 years to study and read the scriptures. Ano yung pinaka-essence nito para hindi na maligaw-ligaw yung mga tao? And in-explain nila ni Sutta Goswami that bhakti is the most beneficial sa lahat ng mga tao. As well as the scriptures that speaks about bhakti is the cream, the top, the essence or the nectar ng mga scriptures. So that was the answer sa first and second question. And of course, before he answered that, he pay respect sa spiritual teacher, niya, sa spiritual master niya na si Sukha Goswami. He glorified din yung mga sages kasi they inquired in the right mood at the same time for the benefit of everyone. So, kinontinue ni Sutta Goswami yung explanation niya rito kasi miski tayo, marami tayong question. Ano ba yung priority natin sa life natin? We have many hats. I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I'm a father, I'm a businessman, diba? I'm a musician, I'm an artist, diba? Ang dami nating pwedeng maging roles. Pero yung mga roles na yon, yung iba doon hindi natin pwede paltan. Hindi ka pwede maging parang mag-quit na ako maging tatay. Hindi mo pwede gawin yun. Tatay ka. Kung nagkaanak ka, hanggang mamatay yon yung anak mo, tatay ka. Walang divorce sa pagiging magulang. Sa relationship, pwede mag-break. Pwede mag-break up. Pero may mga roles na hindi mo pwedeng bitiwan, di ba? And of course, meron ding mga tinatawag na nature ng isang tao. Ano yung gagawin nila sa buhay nila based on calling nila or nature nila. It is divided into 4 division. Tinatawag na Varna, 4 yon, and Ashram is 4 din. Varna Ashram system. The Varna is the nature ng tao. He might be Brahminical or priestly order. Ayun yung nature niya. Or he might be a Kshatriya. Sila yung mga nagiging leaders. Sila yung mga nagiging administrator. Or sila yung mga soldiers. There are those who are in the nature of Vaishyas. They do businesses. And also they protect the cows. So if you have a business that abuse the cows and doesn't protect the Brahman as a saintly person, hindi siya proper. So if one is protecting the cow, he's protecting the nature. The highest in the animal kingdom is the cows. And those who are the Sudras, who are laborers or workers. So this kind of nature ng isang tao, these are the natures of ng mga tao. And may 4 ashrams. Those who are the students, brahmacharis, wearing orange and all. Those who are sannyasis, sila yung mga goswamis na or they master the senses. Sila rin yung mga nagiging guru. The grihasta, those who are in householder life, may mga family. So most of you here are in the grihasta ashram. And those who are vanapras, sila yung mga retired. Ewan ko meron na bang retired dito. Retired, galing sila sa grihasta ashram, they will go to sannyas. They will renounce. Pero may transition yun. Ayun yung vanapras. So, maraming mga duties na to. Iba-iba. Aside pa dun sa mga specific na material duty natin as sa work or position sa job. So, iba-iba siya. Pero, just fulfilling yung mga roles and duties natin materially, it is mentioned na hindi yun yung goals of life. Kahit balibalik-tarin mo yung priorities mo, isulat mo yung mga priorities natin sa buhay, balibalik-tarin natin yon. Unahin mo yung mga ibang bagay na feeling natin could be a bet for the better good. Hindi pa rin yung priority ng buhay. Because if it is just material, position, it is temporary. If CEO ka ng isang company ngayon or holder ka talaga, shareholder ka ng pinaka malaking percentage dun sa company na yun, or even ikaw yung pinaka-owner, still temporary yon. Pwedeng tumama yung pandemic, malugi yung kumpanya, wala na yon. Or ma-outgrow nung market yung business mo, wala na rin yun. Or if hindi sila mauna, pwede ka mauna ka. If mamatay ka, wala na rin yun. Wala ka na, parang ganon. If we're attached, baka bumalik tayo doon sa company na yun. Pero baka janitor na tayo pagbalik, hindi na boss. So maraming way. Pero ibig sabihin lang nun, ni-emphasize sa Srimad Bhagavatam in that conversation, this is not the ultimate goal. So these priorities is not the ultimate goal. So ano daw yung ultimate goal? That is the question. Because using this occupation, if sabi ni Sutta Goswami, if this occupation of ours, this priority na meron tayo, these hats na ginagawa natin, if it doesn't help us remember Krishna, question life, and remember Krishna, if it doesn't help us, everything is useless. Ulitin natin. If these roles and responsibilities doesn't help us for self-realization, to have the questions about life, to have the questions regarding our connection to the Supreme, or even directly hear His glorious names and pastimes, if it doesn't help us, or lalo, what more if mas lalo pa tayo nilalayo dun sa self-realization, it is useless. Because it is temporary. It is, sabi ni Sutta Goswami and in the purport of Sri Prabhupada, it is just wasting time. For what reason? One will receive money, one will receive position, fame, power, but those are temporary. And one will just waste yung human life and yung form and yung time niya just to chase these temporary things. So if we equate that, equals to waste of time. Pero it is like the analogy of having many zeros in life. Those are different responsibilities and different roles. So, yung decimal mo, maraming zero, ayun yung mga roles mo. Kahit balibaligtaran mo yung zero, zero pa rin yun. Pwede magbago, maganda yung polish yung buhay, 'di ba? All branded, high class, 'di ba? High class materially, 'di ba? Bagbugin mo yung position na zero, zero pa rin siya. Magkakaroon lang siya ng meaning kapag naglagay ka ng whole number. Naglagay ka ng 1. Sample 1 lang, naglagay ka ng 1. The question is, saan mo ilalagay yung 1? If nilagay mo sa dulo, you'll have cents or piso or 1 peso. Pag least priority mo yung 1 na yun, that is spiritual life. That is self-realization. That is Krishna consciousness. Magkakaroon ng value lahat ng zero mo kapag nilagay mo siya sa unang-una, yung number na yon. Kapag nilagay mo priority yung number one na yon, then if you have 6 zeros, you have a million. If you have 9 zeros, you have a trillion. Pag nilagay mo sa una. Pero kahit gaano karaming zero mo, pag sa huli mo nilagay, what is the value? So that's how we prioritize things. Ano yung sinasabi ng Srimad Bhagavatam ng Krishna consciousness? You give your few hours in the morning for spiritual life, for spiritual activities. You chant your rounds, you do your sadhana, you do your service, you read the books, you study, you hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. Diba? You can prepare your prasadam even earlier, have the association. You hear and you chant. This is the best investment that we could give and we could do. Kasi we all have our a lot of hours the rest of the day. Sabihin mo na mag-invest tayo ng 3 hours for spiritual life. Yung 21 hours, you can do whatever material duty you need to do. Have to maintain the body, have to maintain yung mga responsibilities natin. 21 hours, that's long. That's how many percentage for 3 hours? So, more than 10, 12% ba? Nanguhula lang ako kung ilang percent yun. But it's a great investment, right? Pero, pag nilagay mo sa una yon, the rest will fall into places. Or kung magkagulo-gulo man lang yung ibang zero mo, ibang rules mo, saka ibang yung the rest of the day, you have invested a good consciousness na. Kasi that's Krishna consciousness. Mas maharap mo na maayos yung mga lalabas na mga kailangan ayusin for the rest of the day. That's the best investment. So, pag medyo humina rin the rest, parang nanghali umihina na yung recharge mo ng spiritually, then you can chant, you can still hear. Diba? So, it is mentioned here, kaya bakit importante yung bhakti for the whole humanity? Without this, everything is just useless endeavor. Pero hindi mo kailangan tanggalin yung mga zero na yun. Or all our priorities, roles, and responsibilities. Hindi natin kailangan tanggalin. We just have to add Krishna sa unang-una. The rest will have value. So, if you have a business, then you're Krishna conscious. Ginagawa pa rin natin yung business natin, pero iba na yung mood, iba na yung consciousness. So, iba mo na rin gagamitin yung result. If you have money, hindi mo na siya gagamitin just for sense gratification. Gagamitin mo na siya Krishna consciously. You will use that money to help you increase your spiritual life and also help others. Or also help those who are spreading Krishna consciousness. Those who are really smart knows that hindi nila kailangan i-waste yung human life form na to. Kasi if not, if one is just working for sense gratification, he is comparable to animal life. Ano ba yung ginagawa ng animals? Just for sense gratification lang. Eating, mating, defending, and sleeping. Those 4 things na ginagawa ng animals are just the same sa mga tao, sa ginagawa ng mga tao. They are just working for senses. For their sense of touch, smell, sight. For sleeping, mating, defending, and eating. Doon na nag-work yung tao. Nagbabago lang yon, depende lang kung anong brand. Kung gaano ka high class o gaano ka polish, gaano ka posh. Diba? Kung gaano ka luxurious. So same. Diba? Again, yung animals, mas grabe rin yung sense gratification nila kaysa sa atin. They could sleep for 6 hours, diba? Yung ibang tao, masaya na makasleep sila ng 8 hours. Diba? For the rest of the week, mag-day off sila para makatulog lang. Yung bear could hibernate for 6 months. So parang pagtulog mo ng January, pagising mo, July na or June. Ano bang tama? Ganun na yung panahon. So they could perform yung sexual activities, mas mag-enjoy sila kaysa sa atin. Sa mga human being. The rabbits, the dove, could have sexual intercourse multiple times a day. Di ba? Yung pride nung defense, nung protecting, nung defending, ano makakatalo sa lion, di ba? Meron siyang pride. Yung pride niya, yung grupo niya tinatawag na pride because of their pride. So what do we have? We don't have claws, we don't have fangs, di ba? Yung ano nga eh, hindi ko alam matandaan kung gorilla o chimpanzee. They don't need to go to the gym. Normal sa kanila malaki yung katawan nila. May abs. Di ba? Yung pinakamalakas na human being, normal na um, power nung animal na yon. I forgot kung anong klaseng monkey yon. Gorilla. Parang ganon. Basta malaki yung katawan nila. Di ba? So that's normal for them. So ano yung unique sa human being is they have a chance for self-realization. They have a chance to question, to inquire, and they have a chance to perform bhakti. So ayun lang yung difference nun, bhakti. The rest ng occupation na meron tayo ng priority natin is will result to sense gratification. Bakit? Paano yun? Napakasimple ng buhay ko, Radha Charan. Hindi ako Krishna conscious, pero napakasimple ng buhay ko. I just work for simple sa money na to, di ba? Gusto ko lang naman puno yung ref ng bahay namin, di ba? May pambayad ng bills, tapos may oras ako manood ng TV. Di ba? Paano naging sense gratification? Napakasimple lang nun. It is still just gratifying the senses, yung mga needs, yung mga desire nung senses natin. Kasi in default, this place is suffering, a place of suffering. Diba? Bakit napaka-negative naman ang tingin sa material world? Diba? Hindi ba pwedeng enjoyment dito? Kasi the default is suffering. We are under the water. Parang nalulunod tayo palagi. Kailangan natin mag-effort para umangat, para makahinga. So we have to work para we could pay the bills. We have to work so may money para to buy food for the table, sa table natin to feed the family. We have to work para meron tayong pangbayad sa rent sa bahay or pambili ng bahay para may safety tayo. Pag di mo gagawin yung mga activities na yon, yung mga priorities na sinusulat natin, yung roles natin, anong default? Wala. Walang mangyayari sa atin. Suffering. Yeah, magugutom tayo kasi walang kakainin. Diba, wala mo provide sa family. Wala tayong security. Your relationship could stumble. Pwede siyang pwede siyang magulo din kasi one is not providing. So that's the default pag walang ginawa. So we have to put effort. Pero yung consciousness, it is not just for sense gratification. These works na meron tayo. I'm sure makaka-relate lahat kasi lahat tayo may sarili-sariling roles and responsibilities. So, in technicality, those are the Varnan ashrams. Pero yeah, the roles and responsibilities and in details, yung mga yung hats na mga sinusuot natin. It is just sense gratification kapag wala si Krishna. We just have to satisfy the sense of taste, the sense of hunger, the sense of sexual desire. Pag nilagay mo si Krishna, it will make sense. So ano daw sabi ni Sutta Goswami, yung purpose ng mga duties natin. It is just life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. We're reading from the 10th verse. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. That is the ultimate goal. Maintain this body and soul together. Have a healthy life or self-preservation. So, does it mean you're a yogi? Kailangan mo na pabayaan yung body na to. This is our tool. This is our vehicle. Make use of it. Take care of it. Kasi ito yung magagamit mo for self-realization. Pero hindi yun yung goal. Hindi goal na para ma-maintain lang yung body kasi it will decay, it will age, it will die, the body will die. Normal na mangyayari yun. Pero the goal, the priority is to inquire about the absolute truth. So, kaya sobrang saya palagi ng conversation natin kapag may mga inquiries. So, kaya lang yung may mga Bibo students, may mga villagers sa village to, kaya meron din mga um, magaganda yung mga question entry nila sa mga lectures natin and classes. Kasi that's the practice, the inquiry about the absolute truth. The inquiry about self-realization, about Krishna. In the right mood, of course. So, Arjuna did ask Krishna a lot of questions. The sages of Naimisaranya asked Suta Goswami a lot of questions. And even Paraksit Maharaj asked a lot of questions, not just for their benefit, but for the benefit of others. Actually, this sense gratification, nangyayari sa paligid natin to if you observe. If a politician will run for a position, ano yung promise niya? Puro sense gratification. Gagawin ko tong kalsada para hindi na kayo maglalakad. May pwedeng sasakyan na. Papagawa ko ng mga train station. Hindi na maghihirap lahat ng tao. I will create a lot of work. Diba? Easy visa for US. So maraming promise. Pero kapag di niya nabigay yung sense gratification sa mga tao, mag-rally yung mga tao, i-impeach siya, tatanggalin siya. Because hindi nag-gratify yung mga senses nila. Kailangan, kaya nila dethrone yung mga leaders. So, hindi ganito lang yung purpose ng life. It may seem, pwedeng bali-baligta rin natin, lagyan natin ng mga flowery words. Tawag nila doon, pwede kang maglagay ng maraming isms. Iba-ibang grupo, iba-ibang, um, how do you call it, movement. Pero it will end up sense gratification pa rin. Gusto iangat yung isang race sa discrimination from other race. Gusto iangat ng isang gender para maging equal siya sa another gender or equality ng other new gender for same sense gratification, gratifying the senses. Pero a person who is really seeking spiritual life, seeker of the truth, hindi sila na-allured nito. Even yung karma nila or yung mga work nila, they're given fortune. Maging mayaman sila, money are coming, diba, fame are coming, hindi sila na-allure dito. Hindi sila nagdadala ni Maya basta-basta. They know the real purpose. Kasi sobrang totoo yon. If money comes, power comes, nakaka-allured siya, nakakadala. Just like those who are yung mga rags to riches. Diba? Maraming ganun. Tapos, afterwards, magiging proud sila. Magiging arrogant. Or they're just wasting it. Diba? So, yeah. Personally, I love music when I was younger. So, mga bands, mga music. Diba? And marami kang story na maririnig ng mga naging rockstar. Rockstar life. Diba? They will get the fame, the money, the women, the drugs. So, they were wasting it. Even few years pa lang sila dun sa position na yon. Kasi alluring siya. Tapos yung mga best friends niya na bandmates niya, na bumuo sila ng pangarap, they will fight with each other hanggang magdemandahan pa sila. Yung ibang banda na yon hanggang ngayon, hindi na sila nagpapansinan yung mga bandmates na yon. Kasi alluring siya. So, ganoon din sa businesses. Di ba? Yung mga business partners na nagtayo ng negosyo nila, sabay sila nangarap. Because of money, nagkakasilawan sila sa money, sa position. Even magkakamag-anak kapag business ano yan. Di ba kaya sabi nila, mahirap magkaroon ng business, family business, kasama yung mga kamag-anak. Kasi magkakatalo-talo. Di ba? Nag-uumpisa sila, yes, sige, sama-sama tayo mag-sacrifice, magtiis, di ba? Maabutin natin yung mga pangarap natin. Tapos, habang nandun na sila, wala na. alluring, di ba? But a person in Krishna consciousness, a really seeker ng absolute truth, hindi sila ma-allure nito. It may come and go, pero alam nila yung purpose in life. How to become that steady? By our practice of sadhana. So for one to realize na it will come and go, tuloy-tuloy mo na yung sadhana. Hindi ibig sabihin na malungkot lang tayo, doon tayo mag-chant or doon tayo mag-seek ng truth. Pag masaya tayo, kakalimutan natin. No, both sides. And both of them are temporary then. So, yung ibig sabihin lang nito, in-emphasize ni Sutta Goswami na the whole world, yung humanity, the greatest benefit for them is to give bhakti. It will give meaning to their life. Kasi people are looking for satisfaction. Laging ganon. Ano yung mag-satisfy sa hankering nila sa buhay? Minsan, nare-realize nila hindi yung senses. Yung, ano nila, yung goal of life, hindi money. Pero ano yung satisfaction na yun? So people are looking for that satisfaction. And dun din sila naliligaw if they haven't found yung pwede magturo sa kanila nun. Then, it will come how to understand the Supreme. So maraming ways how to understand Krishna. There are three ways. Those are the Brahman, or knowing Krishna as the effulgence niya, the light. So maraming dun sila napunta. Those who will realize Krishna through the Paramatma, the localized Paramatma, God from within. And those who will realize Krishna from understanding the Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tatlo to. Again, these are all the same. Si Krishna lahat yon. Pero qualitatively, partial yung dalawa. Impersonal yung Brahman kasi ilaw lang siya, knowing the Supreme as the light. Hindi siya personal. Yung Paramatma, yung mga yogi, they meditate on Krishna from within. Partial din yon, is just expansion of Krishna. But the whole is Bhagavan, Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one could perform bhakti if one is worshipping and in connection with Bhagavan, the whole. You cannot perform bhakti sa light. Kasi impersonal nga siya eh. Hindi mo nga siya kilala, ilaw lang eh. You would understand life na hindi ko yung body, hindi ko yung soul. Pero ilaw lang yon, di ba? One could have realized na maging mabait na tao, maging kind, pero wala siyang connection kay Krishna. Indirectly or impersonal connection. In the localized Paramatma, ganun din. Although it's better than being impersonalist or worshiping the light or connecting to Krishna by that void or light, those who are worshiping Krishna from within, those who are the yogis, mysticism, it is alluring as well. Sabi sa Krishna consciousness and in the scriptures, even this mysticism is alluring. Kasi it will give one the satisfaction ng having powers, having fame, or anything else na they would rely based on their speculation, perception. And some of them are thinking, parang ano, ang dami, lamang ako sa mga tao, I'm God. Alluring si Maya. Yung mga pwede nating ma-miss, nakikita niya. Hindi natin napapansin, nakikita niya. Doon tayo, na-attack ng illusion. So, these are the three ways to know Krishna. But different qualities. Impersonal, pwedeng tumambay yung isang tao in impersonal practice for hindi lang lifetime na to, for different lifetimes din. Ganun din sa yogi. Pwede maging yogi yung isang tao for hundreds of lifetimes, thousands of lifetimes. Kaya makikita mo yung ibang yogi, sobrang advanced nila. Hindi lang sila magaling flexible. may mga supreme powers, may mga mystic powers din sila. Kasi they've been doing it this lifetime and even previously. May mga natitira pa. Although pag namatay naman talaga sila, zero talaga yung end. Wala silang benefit. Parang next life, pwedeng walang matira. Ulit back to zero. Yung iba, yung desire andun pa rin. Pero yung Bhakti Yogi, yung devotee, those who worship Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personal sila kay Krishna, tuloy-tuloy yung spiritual life nila. Walang nasasayang. If one dies, but they perform Bhakti Yoga, meron siyang baon next life. Pwede siyang huminto in 50%, 51% sa next life. Hanggang ma-perfect niya yung self-realization na yun. So basically, these three are transcendentalists beyond material life. The others are material lang, yung mga gumagawa lang na position nila. Then impersonal, then Paramatma, then Bhagavan. So, again, the highest is Bhakti. So sinabi ni Sutta Goswami, again, in-emphasize niya, Bhakti is the greatest benefit for everyone. The love for Krishna. So, it is called the absolute truth. Sabi nga, di ba? The truth shall set you free. Ano yung truth na yon? Hindi siya chismis truth. Hindi siya fact lang na malaman mo, uy, ganito, or trivia. Hindi yung truth na yon. The absolute truth. Anong yung purpose ng life na to? And when one realize yung this is temporary body, this life is also temporary. Ano yung absolute pa doon? Hindi impersonal, hindi i-worship yung nothingness. Hindi rin mag-focus lang doon sa Paramatma or pagiging yogi, pagiging mystic yogi, but to focus on connecting to Bhagavan, Krishna. So that is actually yoga. Going beyond that material life, not just stepping one and two, going to the top of it. That is bhakti. And sobrang importante nung ine-emphasize ni Sutta Goswami kasi ayun yung conclusion ng lahat ng position natin. Lahat ng priorities natin sa buhay. Kaya nagtanong yung mga sages kay Sutta Goswami, yung mga saintly person, for our own benefit. For the next generations. Isipin mo 5,000 years ago na hanggang ngayon. That is still the question. Meron ako identity crisis. Meron akong quarter life crisis. May half life crisis pa ako. 'Di ba? 20, alam mo yon, ang daming problema in identity. Pag bata ka, hindi mo alam yung gagawin mo, anong priority mo, anong gusto mong gawin paglaki mo. Pag 25 years old ka na, mag, maka-question mo rin sarili mo, ito ba yung path na gusto ko? Then pag 50 ka na, ganun din. And actually, hindi lang doon. All throughout the life, lagi ko question, ano ba yung ginagawa ko sa buhay? Para saan ba? Ano ba yung priority? And that's the ultimate goal. Kaya natin ginagawa to, bakit hindi natin kailangan iwanan yung mga priorities na yun, yung mga zero? Kasi all of this will help us for self-realization. All of this will help us to know Krishna better. This is our tools as well. Ayun din yung purpose niya. Para mas maintindihan natin si Krishna. The purpose of Varna and Ashram system is to know Krishna, to inquire, to have self-realization, and to have bhakti. So, it will answer na hindi natin kailangan iwanan or mag-escape dun sa mga duties natin. Unless these kind of duties are bringing you um, um, lower to our lower nature. Diba? If you are having an occupation na ayun nga involved in killing animals, diba? Or in that will be involved in prostitution, in gambling, diba? And in intoxication, that is degrading in one's consciousness. It will not help us or it will not help one to know Krishna better. So yun, pwede mag-rethink tayo. Anong next plan? If one's position is could be helpful practically and also indirectly, mas maganda directly, 'di ba? To be Krishna conscious, mas maganda. That is the ultimate goal ng position ng Varnan Ashram or ng priorities natin. So, sobrang importante ng mga yon. Sinabi rin na we need devotional service. Yesterday we discussed yung detachment sa mga to will be by gaining knowledge. Pag naiintindihan natin, we will know this is temporary, this is the eternal duties to become servant of Krishna, and the others are temporary. So, natutunan natin ngayon na yung mga temporary things na yun, hindi rin natin kailangan iwanan. Maging immature tayo na renunciant. Just like Arjuna, he wants to be a yogi lang sa forest. Hindi niya kailangan talaga iwanan yung pagiging soldier. Just like what Krishna said. So, hindi natin kailangan iwanan yung mga duties na yon, but we must be detached. So, we still have to do that duty, pero detached tayo kung anong result. Paano? If we understand through Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or hearing from devotees, we must do our duty Krishna consciously kasi nga nilagay natin yung number one sa maraming zero. Di ba? Nag-invest na rin tayo sa spiritual life natin, sa day natin. So we will have a chance to do our duties Krishna consciously. Yung result nun, it's out of our control actually. We can work hard pero yung result nun could be good or bad. Pero we have to be detached. Detachment. So, paano yung way para magkaroon tayo ng proper knowledge so we could have detachment? We should perform bhakti or devotional service. So, bhakti is the goal and bhakti is also the process. So, for one to be able to have that love for Krishna, that goal, one should perform bhakti yoga, that process on how to love Krishna. And if one reach that stage of love for Krishna, one will still perform bhakti yoga, service to Krishna. And also that is applicable to chanting. We chant so we could have the taste for chanting and have the love for Krishna's name. Kahit wala pa tayo yung love na yun, we chant because that's a process. And if one feels the love for Krishna, one will still chant kasi nire-relish niya yung name ni Krishna. So the goal and the process is one. Just like the story when a servant sa isang kingdom, hindi pa siya nakakita ng isang gold. Pero lagi niya naririnig yung gold. Then he asked his master, the king, "My dear master, never pa ako nakakita ng gold. Lagi ko naririnig yan. Paano ba akong enlightened kung ano yung gold na yan? Sobrang curious ako." So nagulat yung king pero sabi niya, "Okay, I will fulfill your desire. Here's what you can do. Pero to medyo mabigat yung gagawin mo kasi you have to carry a ladder na sobrang bigat para maakit mo yung reservoir of gold natin dun sa part ng kingdom. Ang way mo is using that ladder." So yes, na-excite yung servant. "Ah, balewala sa akin kung mabigat yung hagdanan. At least masatisfy yung question ko na makita ko yung mga gold." Then he got the ladder na sobrang bigat. Drinag niya across the hall, across the room. Tapos nilagay niya dun sa wall, across the wall para maakit niya yung papunta sa reservoir of gold. So, it took him some time and a lot of effort and napagod siya para dala yung hagdanan. Paglagay niya dun sa may wall, naakyat na niya, nagulat siya. Nakita niya yung sobrang kintab, sobrang shining yellow gold na mga gamit doon, na mga panapernalya. Hindi siya nagulat sa dami ng mga gold na yon. Nagulat siya kasi yung hagdanan na dinala niya is made of gold. And nakita niya sa paligid niya, lagi niya nakikita yung gold pala. So same thing, yung hagdanan natin is gold already. Hindi lang natin nare-realize. Kasi we don't have the knowledge yet and we don't have the realization yet. So yung nalaman niya na gold yon, na-appreciate niya lahat ng gold. Nakita niya na gold din yung hagdanan, na gold din yung king, suot ng king na crown. Nakita niya yung gold sa paligid. So for us to have that realization, we need knowledge. We need Srimad Bhagavatam. We need the association of devotees. For us to realize na si Krishna and his name is one, that is the goal. For us to realize that, we will appreciate na kasama natin si Krishna palagi by chanting Krishna's name. Again, it emphasizes bhakti. The goal and the process is one. That is bhakti yoga. And it is very personal. In the text 15, it is mentioned here, with sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work or karma by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his messages? This is breaking free. So, ang sarap ng feeling nung nalaman natin na we're not the body. Tatanggal yung pressure na niisip natin sobrang attached tayo sa body. Tumatanda na ako, nag-iiba na yung kulay ng buhok, nagkaroon na ako ng wrinkles. It's very stressful sa mga tao, sa mga babae even. It's a big industry for the um, mga cosmetics, di ba? How to look younger, fountain of youth. Because we're attached sa illusion ng youth. Pero nawala yung pressure na yun na nalaman natin, oh, the body will age and die, but the soul will remain young and eternal. So that knowledge cuts the binding force, yung mga nuts na yon sa mga attachment natin. Para siyang, alam mo yung, ano, before AirPods, yung may earphones ka, tapos pag nilagay mo sa bulsa mo, pag tanggal mo parang nag-auto ano siya, buhol-buhol, tapos ang hirap tanggalin. Or parang dreadlocks, na parang kailangan putulin mo na lang, kaysa ang tanggal mo pa. Ganun yung spiritual knowledge, ganun yung bhakti. It could cut off yung nuts ng mga reactionary work natin. Kasi we are entangled in this life. Entangled tayo sa family natin, in different lifetimes, sa mga desires natin, and all our karmas. Because of this activity, we receive this reaction. And we have to do another action para tanggapin yung reaction na yun. Then, magkakaroon ulit tayo ng another karma, reaction. So, sobrang entangling. Pero the only way to cut that is the sword. The sword in hand. An intelligent man uses this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, to cut this sword, to break free sa cycle of birth and death, to break free from samsara, or paulit-ulit tayong pagstay dito sa material world. Even living in this lifetime, just breaking free from that um, attachment natin, it's a big relief. Hindi ko pala kailangan talaga maging bilyonaryo. Now, why not if you could use that for Krishna? Pero iba ayun yung goal of life. Tapos, napakalayo. Wala sa karma nila, wala sa fortune nila, wala sa skill set nila. Wala rin yung mindset nila doon. Pero yung society, ayun yung sinasabi. Na kailangan maging maputi ka. Kailangan matangos yung ilong mo or kailangan straight yung buhok mo. Pero yung genes natin, wala doon. So, natanggal yung pressure na yun kasi you have the knowledge. Diba? We're not the body, we're the spirit soul. Then, yung connection kay Krishna yung mas importante. And then, if we're working, di ba marami nagsasabi, kailangan mo i-leave yung 8 to 5 job, 9 to 5 job. Kasi nakakulong ka lang sa society. Kailangan you are free, you're doing business, entrepreneurship. Hindi naman yun yung golden eh. Sabi nga, mas mahirap nga maging businessman kasi hindi ka lang 9 hours mag-work. 24 hours ka mag-work, di ba? So it is just like discriminating or gusto mas angat yung mga tao sa ibang tao. If one doesn't even living a simple life, pero have the spiritual knowledge, then he has the higher thinking. Much better siya than having a polished life, pero the mind is less intelligent because doon lang siya nakafocus. So, mas na-utilize ng simple person but higher thinking yung life niya compared dun sa high cost of living na tao pero wala siyang time for spiritual life or wala siyang interest. So that's the power of knowledge, cutting through the binding force, our attachment then. And people would really want to hear this. Not all are interested, but those who are seeker of the truth will be interested with this knowledge. Kasi nagkakaroon ng meaning yung mga roles and responsibilities nila. Nagkakaroon din ng goals, nagkakaroon din ng purpose. So, paano natin makukuha yung um, liberation na to? Liberation means actually freedom from the cycle of reactionary work. Pero hindi lang tayo gusto umalis sa liberation na yun. We want to develop love for Krishna. Again, back to bhakti pa rin yung topic. Answering the first question and the second question. How is by the power of association? Kasi maraming nagko-question, napakalakas ni Maya. Yung old habits natin nag-creep in. Magka-chant ako or mag-meditate ako. Pag tumulog yung cellphone mo, may notification, ay baka importante. So ano ka, scroll-scroll ka. Hindi mo malalaman 1 hour ka na nandun. Ay, mag-meditate nga pala ako. Ganun kagala si Maya, di ba? May muscle memory yung katawan natin. Kumain ka na, di ba? Tapos inom ka rin sa ref mo. Pagbukas mo ng ref mo, may masarap doon, kinain mo na kagad. Teka lang, nainom lang ako ng tubig ah. So may mga old habits tayo and they die hard. Old habits die hard. Yung mga habits natin, it came hindi lang this lifetime, from previous lives pa yon. Yung mga vices natin, diba? Even some depression, mga previous lives pa yan, mga old habits yan. Diba? Depression is also a sickness, pero again, we have a free will to get out of it. Addiction is also a sickness or reaction from our previous desires and activities. Again, we have free will to get out of it. So if we have that desire, we want to get out of this entanglement, we need the sword, a sharp sword, to cut this entanglement. How? The knowledge of spiritual life, Krishna consciousness. And sobrang hirap na maintindihan ng Ratachala. Napakadami ng Srimad Bhagavatam. Kung nakita mo sa likod ni Trina, Srimad Bhagavatam, usugan ng onte. Yan. Ang daming libro, 44 volumes. 44 books na ganito. Paano ko intindihin? Tapos ang daming terminologies. Diba? First, you have to attend every morning kasi dinidiscuss natin siya and lighter topics and in our own language. Second is association. We need association. Diba? Minsan hindi natin naiintindihan, basahin mo pa rin. Intindihin mo, we hear. And gradually, we will understand. Kasi yung habits natin are the covering para hindi natin maintindihan yun. Kasi ayaw ng ano natin eh. Ayaw ng ego natin to gain that knowledge. Pero protektahan niyo yung sarili mo. Pseudo protection para dun sa sense gratification. Poprotektahan niyo yung ego mo para nasa comfort zone ka lang. That's your sense gratification. Pero you have to break free of that cycle ng belief natin. Diba? Hindi para sa akin yung reading, hindi talaga ako nagbabasa. Hindi para sa akin yung chanting, wala akong focus. No, you have to break free of that. Hindi para sa'yo, ano lang yon, conditioning. Kasi yung ego natin, protektahan nga yung sarili natin kasi gusto natin dun sa comfort zone or sa sense gratification. You have to break free from that. That is knowledge. That is the sharp sword to break that. And kasi sobrang kapal ng covering yun, sobrang grabe yung old habits. And I don't know if napapansin yung sarili nyo, pero if not, you can ask the closest person to you. Ano yung mga napapansin nilang habits natin? sa buhay na it's not helping? Di ba? Or is it staying up late? Is it oversleeping or overeating? Overeating, medyo makikita mo kasi na may reflection sa katawan. Eh. Or ganun din sa over or undersleeping, may effect din sa katawan. Sa face, may effect din. Or negative thinking is like one of that. Diba? Or criticizing others. Tapos nakita mo kahit successful siya, titignan mo yung mali. Maghanap pa nung just like a fly. Lagay mo siya sa garden, hanapin niya yung basura. May ganun old habits yung mga tao kasi it feels good na lamang tayo sa kanila kasi kahit successful yan. Ito naman siya dati. Those are the old habits. We need to break free from that. It is still animalistic life. So, again, going to the point, bhakti is the ultimate beneficial activity and goal sa bull humanity. And in the scriptures, those who are pertaining and having the essence of bhakti is the cream ng lahat ng scriptures. And that is the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And bukas, itutuloy natin ang ating Walking in the Middle podcast discussing the other um, answers ni Sutta Goswami. And i-expound pa niya yung Bhakti kasi may mga stages yung Bhakti Yoga. Di ba? Is the goal is the process. May hagdanan, may ladder or process. Meron siyang stages. And ano yung mga consciousness ng isang tao on different stages? How we understand, how to understand. So parang it's a systemic way how to develop Krishna's love. Hindi siya sentimental lang. I love Krishna. Tapos you don't do the work. You don't hear. You don't listen to the instructions. You don't um, study. You don't want to understand. So knowledge again yung kailangan. Not just sentiments. So may mga stages siya. And Sutta Goswami will emphasize that in his conversation, in his answers sa mga sages. And also why Krishna is the supreme amongst the demigods, amongst the other his incarnations. Bakit si Krishna yung supreme daw? So, didiscuss natin yan tomorrow morning. And maraming salamat. Hopefully, you could write down your duties and responsibilities and priorities. Lahat ng zero, ilagay mo na kung gaano ka kayaman. And make a plan how we could put the whole number or yung number one natin, si Krishna, dun sa unang-una para magka-value lahat ng ating mga duties and responsibilities. The first priority natin is to become Krishna conscious. And while doing the other zeros, the other roles and responsibilities, we will be Krishna conscious then. So make a plan and make your schedule. Set your alarms. Do it every morning. O paano yung Radha Charan? Every morning yung kinukwento mo, panggabi yung work ko. We have to adjust, of course. Bhakti is a series of adjustment. Bhakti yoga is a series of adjustment. What works for me doesn't work 100% for Jinky or for Ron. May mga series of adjustment kailangan gawin. But we will get the essence. Details will differ, of course. Mga details. The essence is there. So, one effective way is to write it down, prioritize, have a plan then kung paano yung chanting and reading. Again, yung mind natin, daming old habits, ang daming reklamo. Rada tsara, wala akong oras. Diba? Sabi ng mga saintly person, the meditation, the mantra meditation, the sadhana, it is food for the soul. Kung paano mo hindi nakakalimutan kumain ng pagkain, dapat ganun din yung hindi mo nakakalimutan kumain for the soul. Food for the soul. Don't starve the soul. So, if may time ka kumain, may time ka for Krishna conscious activities. Sobrang busy yung schedule ko. May time ka for Krishna conscious. If may time ka kumain. Pag wala ka ng time kumain, saka matulog, yun talaga wala ka ng time. Kailangan mo ayusin yung schedule mo kasi baka mamaya hindi maganda yung prioritization. So these are the food for the soul. Just like the perfect example is if one have a bird cage, tas may inaalaga siyang bird, kahit pagandahin mo na pagandahin yung cage, i-maintain mo yung cage, sobrang kinang, kahit cold pa yan, na sobrang kinang. Kapag di mo pinakain yung, hindi lagaan yung birds dun sa loob ng bird cage, it will not make a sense. So kahit i-maintain mo na maganda yung body mo, kahit may six-pack abs ka, 8 pa man, or may 10 packs na abs ka, diba? Diba? Kahit ikaw yung pinakamaputi sa lahat, diba? Perfect skin, glass skin ka. ah, Pero you don't have the spiritual food for the soul. Same. You're just taking care of the bird and leaving the cage. You're just taking care of the cage and leaving the bird starving. So make a plan for our spiritual life, our spiritual activities, our sadhana. Sabi nga nila, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So, planning is the ultimate kakampi natin para sa prioritization natin. It might be hard sa mga right-brainer, yung conditioning na gano'n. Artist ako eh, gusto ko spontaneous. Kung ano yung nandyan na yung gagawin ko. So, yeah, it will be harder. Pero it will help. Writing it down, prioritizing. So, when things comes, you could just look, ito yung mga sinulat ko nung sober ako. Ngayon may problema ako, ano yung dapat kong gawin. Or have the association, of course. Good ass. So that will be for today. Hopefully, lahat tayo may sword. And hopefully, na-sharpen yan. And the way to sharpen it is to sharpen our spiritual knowledge by having the association of devotees and attending Srimad Bhagavatam, the classes, and reading. So please, don't forget to finish your rounds. Kung tapos na kayo, sino ba yung tapos na sa rounds nila? Patingin nga na kami. If you're not yet, ako hindi pa ako sa tapos. So I will finish my rounds, make use of the earlier part ng day. And you can share Krishna consciousness to others. You can speak about the Krishna conscious philosophy and knowledge. Or you can express it by our body language, by our actions. Being the example, teaching by example. Last time we checked, action speaks louder than words. I'm your servant Radha Charandas, and thank you very much for attending the Monk in the Middle podcast. So see you tomorrow. Habang tumatagal, magiging exciting at mas maraming stories yung darating sa conversation nila. Maraming salamat. Hare Krishna, everyone. See you later. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Pramanande. Haribol.